Hello and welcome back to yet another video. Today's video will talk about the NBA 2022 Finals MVP and best point guard to date, Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed the game of basketball completely in the current era. Isn't it no longer a point of debate? Everybody realizes how Golden State's boy changed the league's fabric by demonstrating how effective long-range shooting can be. With him and the Warriors winning his fourth title in less than 10 years, everyone's asking, is he the greatest point guard ever? So without wasting any more time, let's get started with today's video. Steph Curry possesses a once-in-a-generation ability to hit mind-blowing three-pointers from any spot on the court. His team's great achievement with their playing style has shattered positional limitations that have existed since the league's beginning. But what goes unnoticed is Steph Curry's unparalleled greatness. Despite the fact that he created the very constitution for positionless basketball, we still regard him as a point guard at the end of the day. So guys, let's have a look at Steph's past career. Steph's career. Curry has a strong case for being the best player in the NBA. He's a two-time MVP, having won the accolades in both 2015 and 2016. Steve Nash is one of the only other players who's done this. The names Wilt, Russell, Kareem, Moses, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Duncan, and LeBron define the league's various periods. Magic Johnson and Steve Nash were the only point guards on the list. Steph also has 3 titles to his name. Since 1963, there have been only a few more star point guards who have done the same: Magic Johnson, Tony Parker, and Dennis Johnson. We can all agree that Steph has had a better career than Parker, DJ, or Steve Nash, but Magic remains the gold standard when it comes to the finest point guards of all time. Magic, like Curry, has definitely achieved the pinnacle of NBA basketball on several occasions, both in terms of titles and individual MVP seasons. However, Steph has the best statistical season by a point guard in NBA history, which he holds over Magic Johnson. Let's begin with what we all know about Steph, and that's his shooting. Steph's shooting. Steph Curry has a career three-point shooting average of 43.5%. This is the 6th highest total in the league's history. A player like Steve Kerr, who has the best outside shooting percentage in NBA history at 45.4%, only shoots 1.8 threes per game. Every three he'd ever made in his career, I'm guessing, was aired on The Last Dance. Hubert Davis and Drazen Petrovic both shoot less than 2 threes per game, indicating a low volume. We can't even adequately compare him to his current counterparts, though. Duncan Robinson and his brother Seth are both higher on the all-time list than he is, but their methods for getting those threes could not be more dissimilar. Seth Curry had been a spot-up shooter of 27% in the 2015 to 2016 season. On the other hand, Steph was only spotted 9.1% of the time. But what about a year later, when KD, another elite scorer, is getting the ball many more times? He got as high as 11.2% compared to Seth's 25.4%. Steph Curry seems to be the only player in the top 10 who isn't a spot-up specialist. Other similar all-time shooters pale in comparison. Ray Allen is 47th on the list with a career percentage of 40%, while Reggie Miller is considerably more low at 61st with a career percentage of 39.5%. They didn't only ignore Steph's effectiveness, they also counted on-screen curls and off-ball movement to become free. They required somebody to pass the ball to them, while Steph, on the other hand, did it all by himself the majority of the time. People don't give Steph nearly as much recognition for his shooting abilities. Nobody in the league's history has ever been able to take threes with such recklessness, but totally justify it by shooting them so quickly. Yes, he is widely regarded as the best shooter of all time, but we don't realize how much since we've grown accustomed to Steph's rapid shooting. Steph's greatest season. We need to recognize just how good Steph was in 2015 to 2016. You don't have to look far down the rankings of all-time great seasons to locate Steph's flawless campaign in 2015 to 2016. Curry recorded a player efficiency rating, or a PER, of 31.46 that season, which was the 8th best single-season performance in NBA history, not only for point guards. Only Wilt Chamberlain, who ranks 3 times and also takes the top spot, Michael Jordan twice, LeBron James twice, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, very narrowly from last season, have ever done better than Steph. You'd have to go all the way down to 18th to locate the upcoming point guard on the rankings, thanks to Russell Westbrook's high usage and highly scrutinized 16-17 MVP season. The only other point guards to crack the top 100 PER seasons ever are Chris Paul at 25th and Oscar Robertson at 84th. Before we even get to Magic Johnson's best all-time season, Steph appears at 61st for his 2017 to 2018 season. Magic first appeared on the list in 1986 to 1987 when he finished 110th with a 27.03 PER season. Steph Curry has set the record for most points scored by a point guard in NBA history. He's got the awards, the medals, and the scores to prove it. The only thing standing in the way of Steph Curry being the clear-cut finest point guard in NBA history is himself. Steph Curry's biggest hurdle. The finest thing about Steph Curry is that he isn't striving to be the best, and he isn't concerned with his place in league history. Curry simply plays and acts in the best interests of the team, which is absolutely how the best NBA leaders and coaches would like their star players to behave. Although being among the most lethal scorers in history, his usage rate is incredibly low for a player of his caliber. His stellar 2015 to 2016 results were accompanied by a 32.6% usage rate, which ranks him 84th all-time, which is shockingly low given his history of performance. On the other hand, Russell Westbrook and James Harden had the two highest usage seasons in NBA history during their MVP seasons, with rates of 41.7% and 40.5% respectively. To put it in context, even in his most selfish year, there are currently 15 active players with higher usage rates than Curry. Devin Booker, Carmelo Anthony, Bradley Beal, Trae Young, Isaiah Thomas, and DeMarcus Cousins are among others on the list. Steph Curry, without a doubt, is the player who merits the greenest of green lights to fire at will. Steph Curry could easily have claimed a larger portion of the assets. It would have been completely justified, given his current efficiency. But that's not what he's ever been about. Curry didn't have the same buzz as his peers, yet he exceeded them all. He's more concerned with what is best for the team than for himself. He could have easily come up with astronomically ridiculous figures if he wanted to. It's a credit to his extraordinary talent that he's still had some tremendously productive seasons despite this. After his all-time 2015 to 2016 season, we forget that he made the highest sacrifice that a professional player can make. To sign Kevin Durant, he accepted the role of alpha on his own team, a step back that only a few superstars would ever take. After putting up the best single-season performance for a point guard in history the year before, signing Durant brought fewer shots, lower numbers, lesser headlines, and definitely less solo attention. But if you ask him now, I'm confident he'd choose the 2 rings and the team's success over anything else. With the transfer of KD to the Brooklyn Nets in 2019, Steph had the opportunity to show us he could still win without KD, and he proved he could by winning his 4th title and Finals MVP for the first time. Curry has already established a compelling case, but the greatest part is that he isn't finished yet. So far, we've been able to bask in Steph's brilliance and inventiveness, but there's still the last chapter to be written. Steph never bought into the positional norms imposed on him by AAU coaches, the media, or even NBA scouts. He was notorious for bending them. He forever redefined what it meant to be a point guard in the process. Although never attempting to be one, Steph Curry is the greatest point guard in NBA history. Instead, they altered the stance to more closely resemble his.